A very good evening and welcome to Newswatch. It is the 21st of June 2022. We are coming to you live from 28 Valley Road with the latest news making headlines in the country. I'm Tony Omondi and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Muridhi. Let's begin with our top story tonight. Now, Kenyans are set to bear the brunt as government plans to scrap fuel subsidy in the next financial year. Kenyans will now have to brace themselves for tougher economic times, with the government seeking a gradual adjustment in fuel prices to eliminate the fuel subsidy in the next financial year. This comes on the backdrop of increased pump prices, which is attributed to volatility and uncertainties in the international oil market as a result of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, given that Russia accounts for 11% of the total global crude output. According to Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani, the government rolled out the fuel subsidy program in October 2021 and has spent 100 billion shillings to cushion against high cost of living. Our very own Kennedy Kimani reports from the county of Nandi.
Mimi driver Kaptumo Kapsabat route. Kwa kusema ukweli, bei ya mafuta imepanda. Na wakiambia abiria waongeze, abiria anasema hatuna pesa ya kuongeza.
Kwa ukweli uchumi haijawahi kufika kiwango ile iko, na maisha ya watu iko hatarini.
It is the cry of Kenyans who will now have to bear the brunt of the high cost of living as the government plans to scrap fuel subsidy in the next financial year.
Tunaomba haswa kama serikali ya Uhuru, tuliwapigia kura na hatukupiga kimakosa. Tunaomba ishughulikie shughuli ya mafuta, sababu hii ni Kenya ambapo tulichakua na serikali ambapo tulikuwa tunaipenda sana. Tulikuwa na imani ya kwamba ingetusaidia, lakini sasa ndio imetunyanyasa haswa sisi watu wa barabara.
Biashara imekuwa ngumu, tena bei ya unga imekuwa mbaya. Sasa hata tunashindwa tutafanya nini?
Sisi kama wakaaji wa Kenya, wakaaji wa Nandi, sisi tuumia na uchumi ya saa hii. Maisha imepanda, bei ya bidhaa imeenda juu.
In the latest April price review, the cost of fuel went up by 9 shillings a litre, with a litre of petrol retailing at 159 shillings and 12 cents, diesel at 140 shillings, and kerosene at 127 shillings and 94 cents. Without the fuel subsidy, petrol will have retailed at 184 shillings and 68 cents, diesel at 188 shillings and 19 cents, while kerosene will have retailed at 170 shillings and 37 cents.
Tumeumia sana. Juu hata hizi pikipiki tunaendesha, ukienda kwa petrol unanunua mafuta, pikipiki ikiharibika vipuli za kuuza watu wanakuuzia tu vile wanafikiria. So Kenya hata hatujui tunaelekea wapi.
Hali ya uchumi imekuwa ngumu kulingana na maisha ya saa hizi. Hata huenda tunahurumia vijana wetu wenye wajoa, sidhani kama wanaweza wao kulingana na saa hizi. Sababu utalisha nini watoto, utalisha nini jamii, na utasaidia aje jamii yako hata kimasomo na mahitaji ya hapa na pale.
But we pray that God may give us leaders who will be sensitive to what is happening in the country.
In scrapping the subsidy, the Treasury says it intends to create physical space necessary for the government to support targeted public spending on productive sectors.
Mafuta isiongezwe kidogo, aongeze vige maximum. Hata chakula tunakula umepanda. Apandishe mpaka ikue waraia sikuje tao waishi reserve. Kama una kitu ya ukula kwa tepe.
Mbona unataka bei ya mafuta iongezwe?
Mafuta tena iongeze. Mpaka ijulikane hiyo mafuta yake yamefikia kiwango gani. Ndio saidia president hata kiondoka aondoke kama kichua bei ya mafuta imeshika watu mzuri. Uwezo nunua mkate, tanunulia nini?
The government rolled out the fuel subsidy program in October 2021 and has spent 100 billion shillings to cushion Kenyans.
With the government seeking to gradually remove the subsidy cushioning Kenyans against the high cost of living, there is a tiny glimmer of hope that the situation will change, with Kenyans now having to brace themselves for tougher economic times. Kennedy Kimani, Hope TV Newswatch in Kapsabet, Nandi County.
In all, the senators this evening approved National Treasury's proposal to raise the debt ceiling to 10 trillion shillings. 27 senators voted in favor of the proposal, while 3 senators declined it, giving the incoming government liberty to borrow up to 10 trillion shillings after raising the amount from 9 trillion shillings. Senators from both sides argued in Parliament, giving different views on the need to increase the debt ceiling. Legislators allied to Deputy President William Ruto castigated Kenya's borrowing, saying it's strenuous to the economy, while those supportive of the handshake between President Uhuru Kenyatta and ODM leader Raila Odinga supported borrowing. The National Assembly, led by its majority leader Amos Kimunya, passed the proposal on June 7th this year. Meanwhile, senators have reminisced about their contributions to the House and to the country in their last session in Parliament.
The government will behave responsibly, because we can talk about COVID, we can talk about these challenges, but in our nation, the financial discipline has always been lacking. And therefore, if we extend the debt ceiling, which has been growing by leaps and bounds, we hope that there will be responsibility to make sure that although Kenya may be making some strides in the area of infrastructure, but if we don't manage it well, we will not be able to become a free market economy which can guarantee prosperity to the rest of the country.
From 3rd December 1991, the amendments that were done through Parliament under my watch were basically reform amendments, reform of the Constitution, reform of legislation. It was just basically reform. Culminating, Mr. Speaker, sir, in the promulgation of the new Constitution on 27th August 2010, which I was privileged to be the person in the seat of the Attorney General at that time.
Mr. Speaker, we have been in this House since the 31st of August 2017, meaning we've been here for 4 years, 9 months and 21 days, or 57 months and 21 days, or 1,755 days. Mr. Speaker, it has been a journey that is bittersweet. There's been joy and tears. There's been pain, Mr. Speaker, and there's been happiness. But I want to use the words of Max Dupree, who says the first responsibility of a leader is to define reality.
Away from that, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party presidential candidate Raila Odinga is leading in popularity in Nairobi County, followed by Kenya Kwanza Coalition presidential candidate William Ruto. This is according to a new poll conducted by research firm TIFA on June 20th, 2022. The survey shows that if election were held today, Azimio flag bearer Raila Odinga would secure 50% of the votes in Nairobi County, while his main political rival William Ruto will get 25% of the votes, followed by Roots Party candidate Professor George Wajakoya at 7%. At the same time, Nairobi gubernatorial aspirant Johnson Sakaja is leading his opponent Polycarp Igathe by 40% to 32%. Tess Njenga now reports.
The latest TIFA research firm opinion polls have put the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party presidential candidate Raila Odinga's popularity in Nairobi County at 50% ahead of Kenya Kwanza's coalition presidential candidate William Ruto, who has 25%. Raila's popularity increased from 41% in the month of May to 50%, as Ruto's decreased from 26% in May to 25% in June. The poll, which sampled 632 registered voters spread across 17 constituencies in Nairobi, puts Roots presidential candidate George Wajakoya's popularity third at 7%, while 18% of Nairobians remain undecided. On the Nairobi gubernatorial race, Senator Johnson Sakaja, who is a UDA candidate, is still the most preferred candidate for the Nairobi governor's seat, with 40% of respondents supporting his bid. Azimio la Umoja One Kenya flag bearer Polycarp Igathe follows at 32%. Regarding Senator Sakaja's degree, 29% of Nairobians believe his Ugandan degree is valid, while 36% believe his credentials are questionable. The senatorial race appears largely unpredictable, with 63% Nairobians undecided on who to elect as Nairobi's senator. Nevertheless, ODM's Edwin Sifuna is more popular at 27%, followed by UDA's Bishop Margaret Wanjiru at 9%. Taking a look at the woman representative race, incumbent woman representative Esther Passaris of ODM is more popular at 32%, as her nearest rival Millicent Omanga has 19% support, as a huge base of 48% is undecided. The poll also indicates that ODM and Azimio la Umoja parties are both more popular than their rivals UDA and Kenya Kwanza. According to the survey, Roots Party, fronted by its presidential candidate George Wajakoya, is equal in popularity to Jubilee at 4% each. Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Tess Njenga.
Now, Kenyans are staring at stricter COVID-19 restrictions should they not respect the mandatory wearing of face masks in confined places, as announced by the Ministry of Health on Monday. The country has seen a steady rise in COVID-19 positivity rate that currently stands at 11.6%. This even as the Africa Center for Disease Control marked Kenya as one of the African countries experiencing the 6th wave of the virus. A section of Kenyans welcomed the regulations, as Grace Wangoi tells us.
Just a day after the Ministry of Health reintroduced the mandatory wearing of face masks in indoor setting, a majority of Kenyans could be seen adorning their face masks in Nairobi's CBD. Health CS Mutahi Kagwe on Monday directed that members of the public in confined places like supermarkets, offices, public service vehicles, PSVs, will be required to wear their face masks to contain the fast-spreading coronavirus.
The mandatory wearing of face masks in open public spaces, where one is not in close proximity with another person, remains optional. However, one is required to wear a mask when in contact with other people in close confined spaces such as PSVs, aircrafts.
As of Tuesday, the Ministry of Health has announced that 419 people have contracted COVID-19 out of a sample size of 3,610 tested in the last 24 hours, marking a positivity rate of 11.6%. Total confirmed positive cases are now at 330,024. A section of Kenyans have welcomed the idea of face masks, noting that it was time Kenyans started wearing masks to lower the spread of COVID-19, adding they did not wish that the country go back to where it was.
Masuala ya mask mimi naona ni muhimu sana, kwa sababu hapo nyuma hiyo corona imetu affect sana kibiashara, na hata imefanya watu wakubwa wengine na wadogo kuaga dunia.
On COVID-19 vaccinations that have continued despite the lifting of restrictions by the ministry, Mutahi Kagwe emphasized on Monday that there was need for all Kenyans to present themselves for vaccination. Heeding to the directive, Pauline Mora says she has seen the need to get booster shot to boost her immunity against contracting COVID-19.
Niliona ni vizuri niweze kudungwa sindano ya pili, hii mnaita booster, kwa sababu ndio niwe ninajiamini na niweze kuwa sasa hata nikitembea najua kwamba sina tatizo yoyote.
Information from the Ministry of Health indicates that a total of 18,608,768 vaccines have been administered across the country, with 16,657,840 of the doses administered to the adult population, that is 18 years and above. A further 1,499,487 doses were administered to those between 15 and 17 years. 40,454 are below 15 years but above 12 years, while 410,987 are booster doses. In the last 24 hours, 13,781 vaccines have been administered, while the total number of people fully vaccinated is 5,603. The abrupt lifting of mandatory wearing of face masks in March left vendors of masks at a precarious position, not knowing where to take the remainder of their stock and not knowing where the next source of income will come from. But for Edwin Kamau, who had moved into a different venture, the future of selling masks seems bright.
Lishaji wa mask, tulikuwa tunauza mask na hiyo kazi ikaisha. Tunashukuru Mungu kwa Mutahi Kagwe amesema tuuze mask. Yes, naona tulikuwa tumeanza hata kufanya biashara zingine. Lakini sasa tuna clear stock, tuwekelee mask.
For now, all that Kenyans can hope for is that the mandatory wearing of face masks in indoor setting will help reduce the spread of COVID-19 in the country and that eventually things will go back to normal. Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch in Nairobi, my name is Grace Wangoi.
Now, a girl from a humble background in Machakos County who failed to join Form 1 due to lack of school fees has finally seen some light at the end of the tunnel after securing a golden chance to join Form 1. Machakos Deputy County Commissioner David Rotich spearheaded the initiative to buy her all the necessities to join Form 1, including uniforms and securing a one-year sponsorship from the CDF kitty. However, Mutindi Mawili's mother cited abject poverty as the biggest impediment to her girl's education. Dole Murigi has the story.
The school fees headache has always been a thorn in the flesh for students from poor backgrounds whose parents cannot afford school fees. As it is for every child to join their dream school and pursue their preferred careers, to some it doesn't work, school fees crisis being the limiting factor. In Machakos County, a young girl had failed to join high school due to lack of fees, but Machakos Deputy County Commissioner David Rotich came to her aid and took the initiative of making her dreams come true. According to Rotich, she got to know Mutindi Mawili's vulnerability after she boldly approached him to share her burden of school fees when he had attended a public baraza at Wote in Machakos County.
I immediately took up the matter. I picked the girl and a guardian who was with her. Took her to Machakos town, bought her a pair of shoes, I bought her a pair of uniform and some basic needs. After which I contacted Machakos National Government Constituency Development Fund Chairman concerning possibility ya kupata bursary.
Rotich visited the girl's home, met her parent, and after a lengthy discussion approached the CDF officials in Machakos Sub-County and the principal of Kiamudhake Secondary who agreed to admit the girl. Rotich, however, said those parents neglecting to take the children to school, action will be taken against them, but urged those unable to raise school fees to speak up in order to help.
Let them come out, and as National Government Administration officers, we are keen on mopping them out, ensuring that every student who did KCPE transits, there is no second way to it.
In his interrogation as to why Mutindi had not reported to Form 1, Mutindi's mother was speechless, exposed the abject poverty in the family, narrating how she struggled to get money for school fees, but in vain.
Kwa sababu hata mimi sikuwa kusema kweli ataenda na mimi. Kwa sababu si mnajua naweza toa pesa wapi.
At the school, the principal assured that they will offer all the needed support for the girl to catch up with the syllabus to fill the gap that she had lost while at home.
We shall find time during free time so that she covers the areas which she has not covered, which we are taught when she was away. I request all the teachers to assist her with good heart so that she performs just like any other who had came earlier.
Area Assistant Chief Peter Ngovu insisted on the importance of public barazas that expose the girl's plight, assuring that as administrative organs of the government, they will support the government effort in ensuring 100% transition to Form 1.
Mtoto huyu alipokuwa amejitokeza kwa baraza pamoja na wazazi wake, aliweza kujua umuhimu wa mpango wa serikali ambao ni wa kuhakikisha 100% watoto wameenda shule ama 100% transition.
Mutindi, who scored 220 marks in a KCPE, vowed to put effort to make a difference and ensure she catches up with the syllabus. According to the Ministry of Education, Machakos County has reached 98% transition and is expected to achieve the 100% target soonest. Dolly Mirigi, Hope TV.
Still on education matters, Gitwamba Primary School in Ruai, Kasarani constituency in Nairobi is appealing for help after one of its classroom blocks developed cracks, forcing the school administration to transfer pupils. School head teacher Joseph Njoroge says the block of 8 classrooms serving over 600 pupils is a threat to the pupils and the entire school, forcing the administration to erect canvas tents in the fields to serve as classrooms. Dickens Livanda visited the school and filed for us the following report.
Over 600 pupils at Gitwamba Primary School in Ruai, Kasarani Sub-County, Nairobi County have been forced to continue the learning activities outside classrooms after their one-story building classroom block developed cracks.
Shule budget iko, si ndio? Shule ijengwe upya that will fit the current curriculum ya CBC.
Mimi ni mzazi wa hapa, niko na watoto wawili. Kuna mwingine pia amesomea hapa na amemaliza. Sasa Friday watoto walikuja nyumbani wakatuambia class inabomoka. Ina crack na kuna watoto walikuwa hata wana faint juu ya kustuka juu. Hiyo nini? Wali affectiwa na hiyo kitu. So leo venye tulikuja hapa asubuhi, tulifika hapa saa 1 tukiwa wazazi kadhaa. Na hatujatoka hapa kutoka asubuhi. Tukidemand tujue nini kutaendaje.
According to the school headmaster Joseph Njoroge, who has called for help from well-wishers, the block, which houses 8 classrooms, is awaiting disaster to the entire school administration.
We have a block of 8 classrooms which started developing cracks. That was some few years ago, but now the cracks are getting more worse, and now we had to relocate the 604 pupils for emergency purposes in other open areas where they can continue learning. We have already appealed for help. Any person who can come and help so that our pupils can be comfortable. The current population of the school is 1,725.
The building, which has been condemned, was a donation by a well-wisher around the year 2006, but the contractor did a shoddy job. Last week, they experienced building materials drop from the upper floor, forcing the administration to save the children during a stampede that saw 3 pupils saved unconscious.
Hii kazi ingeangukia watoto, tungekuwa tunaongea mambo ingine. Hapa ni kusema ya kwamba yule contractor ambaye aliweza kujenga hii shule, tumeisunguka, tumeona ufa ni kubwa sana. Na tumeona kuweka chuma zile ambazo zinastahili.
Kasarani MP candidate Ronald Karauri, who is vying on an independent ticket, visited the school where he donated canvas tents so as to shield the affected pupils as a temporary relief measure, only for them to be destroyed and stolen on Monday night by unknown people.
Nikisikia kelele, kumbe ni watu walikuwa wanakimbia na chuma kutoka kwa shule ya Gitwamba Primary School. Wakituma huko chini pande ile kwa karibu na hospitali. Sasa sisi tukakuja tukaona, tukaangalia tukaona ni chuma, lakini hiyo watu walitoroka.
Kuna mgombeaji mwingine, the current sitting MP, jana usiku aliorganize akaleta magunza hapa, wakatoa zile tent tulikuwa tumedonate, ndio yeye mwenyewe aikelee tent zake. Sasa unajua hiyo ni tumefanya hata ikakuwa police case, tumereport kwa sababu hizo tents zimepotea. Tunaona hiyo ni kesi ya wizi. Kwa sababu hizo tents zilipotea, tunajaribu kuzitafuta pale ziko, but at the same time kwa sababu tuko kwa siasa sasa, ni jambo la huzuni sana mtu akianza kumix mambo ya siasa na mambo ya watoto. Hiyo ukuta ikiangukia mtoto, hakuna mtoto yuko kwa chama yoyote.
Parents who visited the school have raised concerns over the state of the institution, considering the huge population of the public school with the little learning facilities. The Minister of Education in the Kasarani constituency, Member of Parliament Mercy Gakuya, have been challenged to come to the rescue of the school, even as the school administration prepares to briefly close end of June, as per the education calendar. Dickens Livanda, Hope TV Newswatch.
That story from Dickens Livanda takes us to our fast break on Newswatch. We'll be back shortly with more. Keep it Hope TV.
Every day, over 15 million members are transforming Africa. 15 million members, empowered to learn, to create, to grow, to harvest, to lead, to dream. Equity. Karibu member.
Welcome back to Newswatch. Let's look at some politics now. Azimio One Kenya Alliance presidential candidate Raila Odinga has vowed to end insecurity in Isiolo 100 days into office if elected president in August. Odinga, who toured Isiolo County in a vote-hunting mission, called on the residents to support the Azimio agenda, saying his government will end hunger-related problems in the region. Odinga has also pledged to revive the economy of the region and set up special economic zones to boost business. At the same time, Raila has castigated Deputy President William Ruto for church donations, asking him to explain the source of his money.
Ukitaka insecurity ya Isiolo County improve, pigia Raila. Ukitaka vijana wapate ajira, pigia Raila. Ukitaka wamama wapate maendeleo, pigia Raila. Ukitaka wizi iendelee kwa Kenya, pigia huyo mwingine. Ni sawa? Tumeelewana? Mnataka maendeleo ama uporaji wa mali ya umma?
Kati ya baba na wale wengine, unaweza kuamini nani? Mutaamini manifesto ya nani? Change that you can believe in. Ama namna gani? Baba ameahidi vijana, kina mama, baba care, hiyo tunaweza kuamini. Yule mwingine, wacheni niwaulize. Munajua amekuwa serikali tangu 1992. Si munajua alikuwa YK 92. Hiyo ni miaka 30. Na amekuwa cheo kubwa. Hiyo mambo anawadanganya atakuja kuwafanyia. Mbona miaka 30 haja wafanyia?
Tutahakikisha kwamba kila Mkenya ana usalama. Akienda kulala na lala bila wasiwasi ya kwamba atavamiwa usiku na majambazi. Hatuwezi kuvumilia Wakenya wanawao hovyo na majambazi. Kutoka mpaka ile na kuna chochote nafanyika. Kama wewe umeenda kuvamia Wakenya na kuua watu, wewe mwenyewe utashikwa na utauawa. Sawa sawa? Tutahakikisha kwamba usalama imerudi tena eneo hii yote. Pale ambaye kuna shida ya mpaka, iwe ni Isiolo na Garissa, Isiolo na Wajir, au na Marsabit, au na Samburu, tuna njia ya kutatua hiyo shida bila shida yoyote.
Meanwhile, Deputy President William Ruto now says the Kenya Kwanza administration will partner with the civil society to enhance governance in the country. The Deputy President said he was looking forward to working with the civil society to ensure civil servants are held accountable. Ruto said the country stands to benefit immensely if the civil society is allowed to operate freely, devoid of government interference. The DP spoke during a consultative forum with members of the civil society in Karen, Nairobi County. Kandara MP Alice Wahome echoed Dr. Ruto's sentiments, saying they will not fight the civil society as has been the norm in previous governments.
I want to assure you, the civil society, that we who will be in the leadership of Kenya Kwanza government will make sure we push that AGPO becomes a reality and one that we are not begging, and where we are able to push women-owned businesses to even do bigger projects than they're already doing right now. And I hope that we can continue to work closely together, even beyond the 9th of August, because I'm sure one of the success stories of the Kibaki regime actually was his partnership with civil society.
Governments have stigmatized the civil society. They have abandoned the civil society. They have even taken some to courts because they have spoken to questions of accountability and integrity. And I would want to assure the civil society that this government, Kenya Kwanza, will be a different government, scrutinize our women charter, scrutinize our manifesto that I'm sure he will say when we are launching, and then you'll know you have a good friend and a partner.
Any government is as good as the accountability mechanisms that are in place. And the two very prominent ones is the legislature and our civil society. I really am looking forward to how we can work with the civil society in a manner that they can be promoted to do what they do best by holding everybody to account. So I'm looking forward to working with you guys as partners. And I want to encourage you. We may be friends, but please do your job. You know, you will assist us greatly if you held us to account. It would be good for you. It would be good for us, and it would be good for governance, the governance of our country.
Away from that, the Ministry of Public Service, Gender and Senior Citizens Affairs has led the public in celebration of Africa Public Service Day 2022, with the ministry celebrating 10 years of transformation of public service delivery under the 10-year tenure of President Uhuru Kenyatta. Addressing the press on behalf of Gender CS, Professor Margaret Kobia, the ministry's Chief Administrative Secretary, Rachel Shebesh, noted that the public has become more involved in public service and was demanding better service delivery from public servants. The celebrations that have begun on Tuesday 21st will continue until Thursday 23rd June at the KICC grounds. The theme for this year is Celebrating Public Service Transformation, 10-Year Journey and Beyond, and is premised on the government aspirations to improve the administrative systems to better serve the needs of the citizenry.
The main objective of Africa Public Service Day is to come together and celebrate what public servants have achieved, and also look at the misses where they may not have done the right things, noting that they are managing public resources and enormous resources. So the genesis was in 1994. That is when the African Union agreed, the government, that they would be celebrating this day.
The environment in which the public service operates has become increasingly dynamic and complex, calling for flexibility and adaptation of best practices. Globalization and digitalization of business has called for a redefinition of public service roles. The growing shortage of public resources has led to rethinking service delivery to ensure that public service delivers more with less. Citizens are also increasingly becoming more discerning and demanding higher quality services, calling for continuous innovation and thought leadership on the part of public servants. In view of this, I encourage you to fully participate, openly discuss these emerging issues, and come up with solutions that will guide the public service of the future.
In other news now, religious leaders in Westlands, Nairobi County have endorsed the incumbent MP, Tim Wanyonyi, for re-election in the upcoming general election. Speaking in Nairobi, the leaders, led by Bishop Josephat Ngaira of Redeemed Divine Church, commended the MP for the development projects he has implemented in the sub-county. The religious leaders called for his re-election, saying during his tenure, Wanyonyi has demonstrated exemplary leadership that has led to positive change in the community.
Ikifikia jioni, we harmonize. We make sure we only have one candidate in every place. Hatakuwa na wapinzani, mtu wa Kenya, mtu wa Jubilee, mtu wa ODM wamesimama mahali pamoja. Hiyo ndio kitu tumetuita huko, na tuko huko na Raila Odinga.
Tunajua vizuri ya kwamba eneo lote la kaunti ya Nairobi lilikuwa limemkubali kabisa. Lakini kwa sababu Mheshimiwa Wanyonyi ni kiongozi aliye mnyenyekevu na mwenye kunyenyekea kwa wakubwa wake, aliweza kusikia ombi la wakubwa wake la kumuomba arudi back kwa eneo lake la ubunge kwa wakati huu, na tunamheshimu sana Honorable Wanyonyi kuweza kuheshimu wakubwa wako. Huo ni mfano mzuri sana ambao ulionyesha, na ndiposa tumekubali. Uliporudi nyumbani tulishangilia sana na tukasema baba amerudi nyumbani, na kwa hivyo wewe kama MP wetu tunatangaza ya kwamba hiyo tarehe ya uchaguzi tarehe 9, si tumempitisha tayari? Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Amen. Kwa hivyo tunatazamia ya kwamba baada ya miaka zake hizi mitano tunajua ya kwamba 2027 Honorable Wanyonyi atakuwa governor wa county hii ya Nairobi.
And Othaya Member of Parliament Mugambi Gichuki has praised his development track record, especially in education sector, saying he has done more than enough to guarantee his re-election in the upcoming general election. Gichuki said he draws his inspiration from the late former President Mwai Kibaki, who represented Othaya constituency for nearly 4 decades. The legislator serving in his first term was speaking on Monday at Munene Kairu Hall in Chinga Ward, while issuing bursaries worth 42 million shillings to various beneficiaries in his constituency.
I will be riding on the platform of improved education because we have invested heavily in education sector in Othaya constituency, especially primary school education and our local day schools. We've really boosted them with infrastructure. We've made sure they are well staffed with TSC teachers. And yes, that's one area we'll be lighting on. We'll be lighting on roads, infrastructure. We are currently doing 154 new kilometers of tarmac. And yes, we have been progressively resealing and tarmacking the 120 kilometers that were done by my predecessor, the late President Mwai Kibaki. We'll be riding on the success of Othaya Level 6 Hospital, which, yes, we actualized during my term, and which we've continued to build, which we have continued to support, and which is a major resource in this region, not only in Othaya, but in the whole Mount Kenya region. It's been a big support and a big boost to healthcare sector, and it has been in line with our government vision of healthcare sector improvement.
Uncertainty is brewing in the Kenya Kwanza camp in Mumias West after ANC MP candidate in the Mumias West constituency parliamentary election, Jacqueline Okanya, was asked to shelve her ambitions in favor of the UDA candidate Rashid Echesa. Okanya has protested the move, saying she will not be silenced or coerced to abandon her political ambitions in favor of the former sports cabinet secretary, who seems to be receiving blessings from UDA party leader Deputy President William Ruto and the ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi. Her supporters have also protested the move, saying both Echesa and Okanya should meet at the ballot and allow residents of Mumias West to lawfully pick their member of parliament.
Matamshi ya naibu William Ruto ilitushusha imani kama wamama, watetesi wa wamama. Maana huyu ni mama mmoja amesimama katikati ya wanaume 4. Wangewacha huyu mama afike kwa debe na kura yenyewe iamue.
Kiti cha ubunge tunakitafuta kwa ujasiri, tukijua kwamba sio kupendelewa, bali ni katiba yetu ya Kenya inatupatia nafasi kutafuta hiki kiti ili tuweze kuwakilisha watu wetu. Na kile tunaomba ni kwamba mwananchi wa Mumias West constituency apewe nafasi akachague viongozi wake. Kila mara tumekataa maneno ya projects, na tunaomba Kenya Kwanza isiwe na projects hapa Mumias West constituency.
Tunasema ya kwamba waacheni wananchi wenyewe wachague. Sisi hatutaki kuchaguliwa. Demokrasia inasema ya kwamba panapo wawili lazima kura ifanye nini? Pigwe. Kwa hivyo mimi kama tutapata nafasi, na mimi nimejitoa sasa, nitaenda Kenya nzima kuzungumzia mambo ya multiparty.
Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta has unveiled the final report of the nationwide airborne geophysical survey and inaugurated 7 other groundbreaking projects that provide current and comprehensive geospatial data covering the entire country. The 8 projects were developed under the Joint National and Resource Mapping (JNAM) team. Speaking at State House, Nairobi, when he launched the Joint National Mapping projects, President Kenyatta expressed optimism that the projects will help in the national development landscape. He has commended the talented young Kenyan professionals who worked jointly under the multi-agency JNAM team to make the projects a reality. President Kenyatta said through the projects, the JNAM team mapped out a wide range of resources, including base metals, coal, gemstones, geothermal sports, forest cover, water bodies, precious metals, and rare earth elements. The output maps, according to the President, have already helped the Ministry of Education in mapping out schools countrywide, seen the Ministry of Roads assisted in the identification of road reserves, while the Kenya Forestry Services has been able to map out forest covers and identify encroached areas. The President also praised the team for developing the SASA digital platform, a land management system that improved the speed of land transactions.
They have done us proud and delivered to you and the Kenyan people beyond our expectation. These energetic, sleepless young Kenyans have delivered to you and to Kenyans assets that will last lifetimes. And they did so in record time without compromising or complaining. They never squandered their opportunity or let you down. They have demonstrated real skills. Your Excellency, sir, their qualifications are in no doubt.
The output maps have already been an aid to very many ministries, the Ministry of Defense, the Ministry of Education in mapping out schools countrywide. They have helped us remove widespread corruption that used to exist. We now know where the schools are, how many students in each school, are able to give capitation on the basis of facts, not stories by principles. We're also able to identify road reserves, preventing illegal structures that then make it very expensive once road construction begins, because land that had been set aside as road reserve has been grabbed. This helped us map our various electricity meters and transformers, and that has also resulted in many people who had illegal connections or were not paying for electricity, and we have seen an increase also in revenues at Kenya Power and Lighting as a result now of the transparency created by the system and the maps that you have done for us. The Kenya Forestry Service has also benefited out of the mapping of our forest cover, our tree cover, being able to identify encroached areas and take early enough action. The team has also successfully developed a current cadastre for Nairobi County, which has subsequently led to vital identification of public lands, such as green spaces, health facilities, schools, roads, road reserves, airport facilities, and areas earmarked for social amenities.
You know we can't forget them. And neither can you. Enjoy all-time classics every Thursday at 11 a.m.
Let's look at some business news now. Vivo Energy Kenya has launched an anti-counterfeit consumer platform to enable consumers verify the authenticity of Shell lubricants they consume. This is in line with the 2022 World Anti-Counterfeit Day theme, leveraging on technology to combat counterfeiting. Speaking at the launch, Vivo Energy Managing Director Peter Murungi said the platform, dubbed Jazik and Shell Lubricants, will help curb the threat of counterfeits that Shell lubricants continue to face. Counterfeiting of engine oils has become a lucrative business in Kenya, and according to the Anti-Counterfeit Agency, counterfeiters have claimed over 20% of the petroleum market. This has caused oil marketing companies to take all necessary precautions to avoid volume loss and guard against potential reputational damage.
For many years, we have been trying to do a lot of things, including having batch numbers in the product, ensuring that we change our labels, we change our packaging in order to beat counterfeiters. But that's not enough. Consumers are still saying not enough. So we have come up with a new platform where we can now make use of the consumers to help us reduce that menace by ensuring that they actually participate proactively in setting those codes so that they can validate the authenticity of the product. Jessica and Shell Lubricants is a program that is going to enable the consumers to validate whether Shell lubricants they are buying in the market are genuine or not.
President Uhuru Kenyatta has signed into law 10 parliamentary bills, among them the 2022 Appropriation Bill, Supplementary Appropriation Bill and Finance Bill. Others are the 2021 Radiographers Bill, National Electronic Single Window Bill, Traffic Amendment Bill, National Government Development Fund Amendment Bill, Supreme Court Amendment Bill of 2022, County Allocation of Revenue Bill and Mental Health Bill. The second Supplementary Appropriation Bill of 2022 makes available a total of 88.8 billion shillings for government expenditure on public services, among them the Fuel Stabilization Fund, which has been allocated 49 billion shillings. Other uses of the funds include drought mitigation interventions such as provision of relief food, the National Fertilizer Subsidy Program, settlement of ongoing road construction bills, which has been allocated 26.7 billion shillings, and social protection and safety net measures assigned 1.5 billion shillings. The Teachers Service Commission has been allocated 2.1 billion shillings for salaries and related recurrent expenses, while 1.37 billion shillings has been earmarked for ongoing improvement of primary school infrastructure. At the same time, President Kenyatta declined 3 parliamentary bills, among them the Information Communication Technology Practitioners Bill, Insurance Professionals Registration Bill of 2020 and Higher Education Loans Bill of 2020, all sent back to Parliament with memoranda. And to some sports news now. Ryan Giggs has announced he's stepping down as Wales football team manager with immediate effect. The former Manchester United player has been on leave from his post since November 2020 and faces a domestic violence trial in the city of Manchester on the 8th of August. Robert Page took over as interim Wales boss in Giggs' absence, leading them to a first World Cup final since 1958. Giggs is accused of controlling and coercive behavior against his former girlfriend Kate Greville between August 2017 and November 2020. The 48-year-old has however denied the allegations and pleaded not guilty to all the charges. And Serena Williams is set to make her comeback after a year out of tennis. Williams, who has won 23 singles and 14 women's doubles titles at Grand Slam events, has not competed since she was injured at Wimbledon last year. Williams was scheduled to practice at Eastbourne on Monday, but the session was called off at late notice. Williams is a 7-time singles champion at the All England Club and is one major win short of Australian Margaret Court's record 24 Grand Slam singles victories. All right, with that, we've come to the end of our newscast tonight. Thank you so much for staying with us. Remember to stay safe and stay home if you have flu-like symptoms as directed by the Health Ministry in order to protect others and also curb the spread. Well, till next time, God bless. Antonio Mondi and our sign language interpreter has been Boniface Murithi. Have a good night.